Welcome back, Qituwrah Leah podcast. I got a lot going on. Okay, it's a lot going on. I have a lot to share. Right now, I am in like the middle of a cleanse. Well, not the middle. I'm just starting a fast and a cleanse. This is the thing. I'm on a fast right now, and I hear people say all the time that, when you're on a fast, don't let anybody know. Nobody needs to really know. This is between you and God. And I get that, right? But I like to share when I'm on a fast, and I like to share when I'm on my journey, and I like to share now, even more so now in my life. I like to just share more about what's happening, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. And I think the more that I'm able to share and be vulnerable and be open, the more that I can help other people and to really paint a picture for other people. And I'm just in a space right now where sharing more and just being more vulnerable is okay for me, right? It's okay for me and it works for me. I'm not going to crash out because I shared this, or I'm not going to crash out because somebody did this and this. I'm just living from a space of just authenticity and just being real with myself first and foremost, and just being okay with being vulnerable. So that's where I'm at. And this podcast is a little vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. So I want to talk about it. I'm gonna get right into the story. Let me start with the story. So this is what happened. A couple days ago, okay, so mind you guys, I'm on a fast and I'm cleansing. So it's a lot of detoxing. It's a lot of letting go. It's a lot of cleaning house. It's a lot of removing things that I just don't need, right? It's a lot of removing people. It's a lot of moving around in my life. This was even before the cleanse, before the fast. It's just a lot of changing, a lot of moving parts, okay? Which it really always is, but more so now it is, okay? Just because I'm moving in another space, I'm in a different era, I'm transforming, I'm elevating, okay? So that's what's happening. So a couple days ago, no, I'm gonna start back to like a couple weeks. So it was a couple weeks ago. It was during my menstrual cycle. I was like, you know what? I have this birth control in, and I want to remove my birth control, right? I haven't been in a relationship for probably like the last 6 months or so, almost 6 months, maybe a little over 6 months. I gotta do the math. But I'm like, I'm not in a relationship right now, and I have this birth control in, which is cool, right? I had it in for probably almost 2 years now. And it just intuitively came to me. I was like, I have this birth control in, and right now, and I honestly don't even know why. I'm not with anybody. I'm not in a relationship. I'm not having sex. So I don't really think that I need this birth control. Now, the birth control that I have is an IUD. Okay? Well, I had. Okay? And I'm going to get there. But the birth control that I had was an IUD. Now, an IUD is lovely. Okay? I love IUDs because the one that I had, it was the copper Paragard IUD, and it lasts for 10 years. And with an IUD, what happens is you insert it into your womb. You insert it into your uterus. It goes up through the cervix and into your uterus, and it stays there, and it's planted there. And it's the copper one. The way that it works is, so there's like two different ones, two different kinds. So one of them releases hormones, and it regulates it that way. And then you're not, it regulates your pregnancy that way. You're not able to get pregnant. And I think one of them, you actually don't have a menstrual cycle at all because of the hormones that it releases. But anyway, the one that I had, which was the Paragard, and it's a copper IUD. And I'm getting into the details because these details matter, right? The copper IUD that I had, it releases, it's just copper. So copper is it's toxic. It's toxic to the sperm. Okay, so the copper creates a toxic environment to the sperm so that the sperm pretty much dies, it kills off, and it can't, it can't go up into your fallopian tubes and cause pregnancy. So that's how the IUD works. So it's planted there, it sits there, it's good for 10 years. You leave it alone, you don't have to do anything. With this particular one, you still get your period. Everything is pretty much still the same. It doesn't release any hormones at all. And that's why I decided to go with this one, because I still wanted to get my menstrual cycle. I feel like, the menstrual cycle is super, super important when it comes to women. And I know that. So, and it's a supernatural thing too, as well. So I'm like, I don't want to stop my menstrual cycle, especially I'm very young. Like, I'm a prime woman to be in her menstrual cycle, but at the same time, I'm not trying to get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? At all. So birth control was the best thing for me. So I didn't want the hormones. I don't know how y'all do the hormones, but I'm already hormonal, just being a woman, right? And I'm gonna talk about that too. But I'm already hormonal, just being a woman. So I don't want added hormones the hormones are doing all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? The hormones are doing all kinds of things. And this is all in good faith that we're not getting pregnant. So this is the thing. That's the birth control that I had. Back to the story. Right now, I'm consciously making the decision not to have sex. I'm consciously making the decision. And I know, you know what I'm saying? I know that I don't want to even engage in any sexual activity. I don't want to engage in getting to know anybody in any relationship at all. That's just not where I'm at right now. Okay. So I'm like, I thought about the idea, it just came to me. And then 2 days ago, I am laying in my bed and I'm like, okay, I'm going to remove I don't want the IUD anymore, because this is the thing. When you're in a space of cleansing and detoxing, you're cleansing and detoxing everything. So in my mind, I'm like, how can I, just with the process that I'm going through and what I'm working through, at the moment, I'm like, how can I truly, truly cleanse and truly, truly detox if I have a copper, a little copper piece in my uterus that doesn't belong there? You know what I'm saying? And of course, I know that it doesn't belong there. Any form of birth control, if it's not like a natural type of method, any form of birth control is going to be toxic to your body. And I know that. But I was willing to risk it off the strength of not getting pregnant. Okay? I'm going to keep reminding y'all. I decided that I was going to remove it myself. Okay? I decided I was going to remove it myself. Now, I did my research. I went right on Google. I went right on Reddit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really have anybody to call and be like, yo, did you try to remove your IUD yourself? Or did you ever try to do? Like, I wasn't doing that. So I went right on Google and I did my research and I'm like, it's my body. You know what I'm saying? And you're honestly supposed to be able, I knew that you were supposed to be able to remove it yourself. Because it wasn't the fact that I couldn't go to the doctor. It was just the fact that I wanted to take control of my own. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really need anybody to really go look at my vagina and take out my IUD and do any of that. And then I was just, I just wanted to like take control of my, of my own body. Now, I located, this is going to get a little, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you need, we need to talk about it. So I located the strings that hang down in order for you to take out the IUD. And this is the thing. While I was locating everything and while I was in my vagina, there is something happening. Okay. There's something happening where I'm just, now it's not like I've never been in my vagina before either, but it's something happening where I'm just exploring and feeling and it's just like, it was just like an intimacy with myself that I've never felt before. And it was like, wow, I didn't expect that. Now I do know, like, about the touching and the sensuality and the pleasure and all of that, but this was different. It was different, and I think it was different because I was like really in there, like, because I was really trying to get it out, and I was just in there, and I was pretty much all over my vagina. Okay, I was all over it, like in that joint, like legs up, boom. I'm trying to get it out. Now the thing of it is, I couldn't get it out because it was so slippery. Okay, it was so slippery, and I couldn't grip it. And this is the thing. Google directions made it seem like it was so easy, and they did say, like, if it's too slippery, use some gloves. I didn't have any gloves, so I'm just in there trying to get it out, in there trying to get it out, and it's just so slippery. I cannot get a grip on it to save my life, so I couldn't get it out. The next day, I tried to get it out again, and by this point, it was a little like soreness. It was a little tender, and I'm just like, I'm just about to just make an appointment at the doctor, but I was just so determined to really just do it myself. Just do it myself. At this point, it's coming out a little bit. So now it's like shifted, and when it starts to shift, you can feel it. It's in a place where it's not supposed to be. So now at this point, I'm like, all right, I got to get it out, or I got to really just go to the doctor. And that's what I ended up doing. It was over the weekend, so I had to wait until today. I had to wait until Monday. So that's what happened. And I couldn't get it out because it was just so wet. And it was slippery, and I just couldn't get a grip on it. If I had like a little, maybe like a gripper or something that I can get it out with, I obviously could do it. Anyway, so that's my story of trying to take out my birth control by myself. Called the doctor this morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm going, I need to come in. I need somebody to remove it. I want it removed. And they're trying to like make me wait a couple days or something. She's like, we don't have any appointments. I'm like, no, I really got to come in. This is something, serious. I need somebody to take it out, because at this point, like I said, it's uncomfortable. The IUD is removed. My IUD is removed. Okay, my birth control is removed. Now, I'm saying all this to say, okay, this has nothing to do, obviously, with me trying to get pregnant. I'm not trying to get pregnant. I'm not trying to have a baby. My sex life is fine. You know what I'm saying? My sex life is amazing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my sex life at all. So this isn't, I'm not making the choice not to have sex or have any, relationship because it's something wrong with it. I already had that moment where it's like, all right, I'm gonna be celibate so I can heal and I can take care, of myself. But at this moment, at this point in my life, I'm just not interested. I'm interested in a lot more other things other than having sex or getting to know somebody or hopping into a relationship. That's just not where I'm at right now. That's why I removed my IUD. It's just something that I just don't need inside of my body while during this time when I'm not having sex. Do what works for you when it comes to birth control and when it comes to your body. Okay? Nobody is going to take more responsibility for your body and your birth control methods other more than you. Okay? I do want to mention that nobody is going to take more responsibility for your birth control methods and your body and your health more than you. So do what you have to do. If you get the innate whisper to do something that is going to, that you need to remove or that you need to detox from, do it. 9 times out of 10, you need to do it. Okay? Listen, I still don't plan on getting pregnant. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I still don't plan on getting pregnant. When I decide to begin to have sex again or get into another relationship again, I will probably get the same thing again. Or even if it's like a moment, you know what I'm saying? Even if it comes down to like a moment where it's like, ooh, I really want to engage in this, like on a quick tip, which doesn't happen. I don't see that happening. But even if it is like, it's not that serious. We can find other ways to use birth control. Like I mentioned that I chose that birth control because I wanted to still have my menstrual cycle. Now, I want to talk about this because it's important. Let me just say I absolutely love my menstrual cycle. I love getting my period every month. I love the entire process. I love it. I'm in love with it. Like just the other day, I was telling myself, I'm like, wow, like I don't ever want to not have a menstrual cycle, which is crazy to me. Like I don't ever want to not have this process and be a part of this process, but I know at a certain point it's going to stop and I'm going to miss it. Like I love every bit of being a woman. I love every bit of my body. And I love every bit, and I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning the processes and just how it works. And it's so miraculous. And it just works by itself, right? It's just naturally, it's a lot going on when it comes to a woman. And I'm going to talk about the process right now, but I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is the thing. Growing up, when you get your menstrual cycle, and I don't know if it's just culturally or if it's just, and I know that a lot of women go through this as well, like, but when you get your menstrual cycle, we don't always talk about what it actually is or what's actually happening. And I know a lot of times when it does happen, it's kind of like, oh, this was always the go-to thing when there was a girl, like, I don't know, I guess it was from the movies. Maybe in the movies they would be like, oh, she got her period, she got her menstrual cycle, she's becoming a woman, right? And I always heard that, like during my like teenage years when I just got my period. I always heard that. And even before I got my period, because I had sisters and stuff like that. So it was a lot of women in my house. But during that time, it's just not talked about. Like when I got my period, when I first got my period, I was in school and I had told my older sister, and she was just like, make sure that there's blood, and if there's blood, make sure you got a pad or whatever. And then I don't even think that I ever told my mother when I got it, right? And I was 12 years old, right? But I don't even think that I ever even told my mom that I got it. Like it's just something that just wasn't talked about. But it was just always, keep yourself clean, make sure you have the correct pads, even tampons, whatever. And that was that. that was that. And even when it came to other women's experience, it was always like such a daunting time. And it was always such a daunting period for women. Like when your period came on, it was like, I don't want it here. Tired, moody, and crampy. I'm PMSing. And it was just like always a daunting time. And I couldn't understand why before, I started mine. And I'm just like, wow, like I don't want to do, like we have to, every month we got to go through this. And this was just always the experience of women. Like it was just such a daunting thing. And fast forward to when I actually was experiencing it, I never had a bunch of PMS. Like I didn't have a bunch of cramping. I'd never had I probably had like the moody situation. But even now, let's just fast forward to now, where I am absolutely in love with my menstrual cycle, right? I don't get super crampy. Like maybe like the first day a little bit, but even then it's not, it's not a lot. It's not too much for me. Other people's experiences with my experiences, that was really it. When it came to what's happening with the menstrual cycle. It had to have been like 3 years ago, at least 3 years ago, probably more. And I looked outside. I walked outside. I love to just go outside, see what's going on and see what the sky looks like. But I looked outside and it was like the first day of my menstrual cycle. Okay, it was the first day of my menstrual cycle and it was a full moon. Now I'm looking at this moon and I didn't quite correlate the moon and my menstrual cycle. But on this particular day, it was a full moon. I remember the full moon because I'm staring at it. I'm looking at it, right? And I also remember starting my menstrual cycle that day. Okay? The following month, the same exact thing happened. I was outside. It was a nice, big, bright, full moon. And I also remember it being the first day of my menstrual cycle. Y'all, when this happened, I'm like, what? No. This can't be a coincidence, right? This cannot be a coincidence. You cannot tell me it's a coincidence that last month I got my menstrual cycle full moon. The following month I got my menstrual cycle full moon. It's not a coincidence. So I'm like, what's going on? So I go straight to Google. I go straight into figuring out what was going on. I'm like, the menstrual cycle is in sync with the moon cycle. I did not know that. That was never talked about. That was never discussed. I did not know that. The menstrual cycle is in sync with your menstrual cycle. Your menstrual cycle was in sync with the moon cycle. The moon cycle was... So nobody's going to talk about this. And I'm getting emotional right now because the moment that I realized that before I went to Google, the moment I realized that, I was like, whoa. We're really connected to nature like this? I I mean, I've been looking at the moon my entire existence of life. This big, bright, beautiful moon, it changes. And we are connected to it down here on earth, us as women. We are, it's like we're the same. We operate like the same way. Like, really? And I'm like, this was never discussed. Never discussed. And all of my years up until it was probably like 5 years ago. But I was an adult up until my adult life. I'm going to say that. Up until my adult life, this was never discussed. I never knew this. Not from my sisters, not from my mother, not from my friends, not from my cousins, not from nobody. You guys, your menstrual cycle is in sync with the moon cycle. It's parallel. It's the same thing. You are the moon. You are the moon. Okay. Now we know, I know, especially when it comes to me just getting deeper into my spirituality, we're all connected in a way, right? We're all connected. But to actually come into this knowledge and to come into this connection, it was the connection that like blew me away. To come into it and to feel it and to know it and to see it and it blew my mind. And I'm just like, wow. Ladies. Okay? So that right there, just that alone should tell you like the menstrual cycle is nothing that should be daunting. It should be welcomed. With all the beauty that you see in the moon, like, is within your menstrual cycle because it's literally the same thing. Now let's get into it. So, the menstrual cycle, okay? It's 4 different phases, okay? And we're going to go more into the connections between the menstrual cycles and nature. All of it. You're connected with all of it. So the menstrual cycle has 4 different phases. So it starts when you get your period. That's your first day of your menstrual cycle. That's when it starts, right? So that's when it starts. Now, the whole point of the menstrual cycle is to prepare you to give birth. It's to prepare you to create life. Okay? That is the whole point of the menstrual cycle. Okay? You get it when you are an adolescent girl, obviously, and then you go into menopause when you were about 45 to 45 and older. So that's when you go into menopause. And that during that whole time, you are a woman who has a menstrual cycle. Okay? I think we all know this, right? Now, the menstrual cycle, it typically lasts between 3 to about 7 days. Obviously, this varies. And it's going to be a multitude of factors that's going to vary with your menstrual cycle. The state of your health, the state of your womb, if you're on birth control, if you're not on birth control, your hormones, any other illnesses or diseases that you have. That's all going to affect your menstrual cycle, your diet. It's all going to affect your menstrual cycle and how long, how heavy, what you're experiencing. But the menstrual cycle is all for you to give birth, and it's over and over and over again. It lasts all month. Okay? It's not just the period when you have your period, when you have your bleed. It is the entire month. Month after month after month after month. Okay, so the first phase of the menstrual cycle is when you have your bleed, 3 to 7 days, however long. After that, follicular phase. Okay. It actually starts during your bleed and then it ends when your ovulation starts. So it's a little short window. So it starts during your bleed and then it ends when you have your next phase. Now, there's 4 phases, right, to the menstrual cycle. Summer, fall, winter, spring, right? These 4 phases of the menstrual cycle are directly in correlation with those seasons. So I'm gonna just run it back. The bleed phase is going to be your winter, okay? So that is the point where you slow down, right? You slow down, your energy is going to be a little lower. You are bleeding, right? Your uterus is using a lot of energy to dispel the blood. I should say, the uterine lining that wasn't used for pregnancy, that wasn't used to create a child. And during this time, you are releasing, you're detoxing. You're detoxing everything that your body just doesn't need. Okay? Now, I want to mention, and this is why I love my menstrual cycle, because not only are you detoxing and cleansing everything that you do not need from your womb, you're also doing that in on a spiritual and emotional and mental level as well. Now, because you don't necessarily see it dispelling out, you kind of have to get more in tune with not only your body, but your spiritual and your mental health as well during this time. Because intuitively, you will know what it is that you are to release and what it is that you are to detox from your life during this time, right? And this is also the time to get lots of rest. It's also the time to kind of just slow down and reflect on everything that has happened throughout your entire cycle. You can't miss with this. You know what I'm saying? This is such a natural, womanly process that you can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? You just have to tune into it. You have to tune into it. You have to listen during this time. And this is why you slow down. You know what I'm saying? This is why you slow down. If you can, don't work. Just slow down and listen. Okay? Because everything that is not for you, you will be told that during your bleed phase of your menstrual cycle. Everything that is not aligning with your life, not aligning with your true life. When I say your true life, I mean was really true for you. You will know that during your menstrual cycle. Okay, so if you intuitively just get a whisper, a message that this person, that person, this man is not supposed to be in your life, understand that this person is not supposed to be in your life. And it's up to you as a woman to release that, to cleanse that. Release it. And it's not like, oh, I'm on my menstrual cycle and you gotta go. I would actually advise to do it when you're done your bleed, because you can be a little bit of emotional, but listen, okay? Just listen to what's going on during this phase, because it's super important when it comes to being a woman and knowing what you do or do not need in your life. Your menstrual cycle is a gift. It is a gift that is here for you to create life for you. And the moment that you realize this, you understand that you are life. You are life-giving. And you should not be experiencing anything in your life that is not life-giving. And if it's not, then you will know. As a woman, you are gifted that ability to know, and you can know very quickly. It happens every 28 days. It's a cycle every single month. Okay? So that's your winter phase. That is your bleed. Going back to the follicular phase, that is going to be your spring. Okay? So, I'm sorry. Yeah. Your spring. Okay? After winter comes spring. So, yes, that's going to be your spring. Okay. So, obviously, this is the time where you are done your bleed and you are preparing to create life. You're preparing for the ovulation. Now, ovulation is when obviously your hormones change again. And it is a particular hormone. I'm not too sure what the hormone is, what it's called, but it causes your ovaries to release an egg. So obviously you have an egg to create life. Hello. And this is your summer. Okay. This is your summer when it comes to correlating it with the seasons. But this is your summer. This is the time where you are very fertile. Okay? This is the time where you are welcoming. You are welcoming sperm. You're welcoming a man to come into your life and impregnate you. You're welcoming a man to come into your life and co-create with you to get pregnant. Okay? So if you are having sex during this stage of your menstrual cycle, you are going to get pregnant. You're more likely to get pregnant. Okay? And yeah, and this is the time where this is, you're asking for it, right? So some people compare this to like when a cat is in heat, right? You're asking for it. You want to have sex more. You're more horny. You're more. You even get like a glow. Like you even get more beautiful during this stage. You'll see you get more beautiful during this stage. Like your lips get plumper, your skin gets a little more of a glow. You are very much in your feminine. I mean, you are the feminine of all feminine at this point. This is the height of being a woman. This is the height of your feminine essence that comes out to play. Right now, I am ovulating. Right? So this is why I have so much energy to do this podcast right now. Because, yes. This is why I have so much energy to do everything that I'm doing right now. Because I am ovulating. You know what I'm saying? So you're asking for it. You are prepared. You're ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's that phase. And then after ovulation, it's the luteal phase. Now the luteal phase is the phase where if you were met with sperm, if all of that luscious energy, feminine energy, did welcome a man into your life and into your vagina, and he released the sperm, it will impregnate you, okay? And then obviously, if it does meet with the sperm, and the egg and the sperm does, meet, it goes through the fallopian tubes and it drops it right into the uterus. And then there you go. That is how you get pregnant. Now, if you do not get pregnant during this time, if you do not have any sperm and it does not meet with the egg during this time, then your hormone levels are going to begin to drop, and then the whole process is going to start all over again, where the uterine, the lining of the uterus is going to just bleed out. Okay, so that's the entire menstrual cycle. Now the luteal phase is going to be your fall phase. So it's fall, you're going back into your winter, which is your bleed. So this is going on all month. This is happening all month. And like I said, this is designed for you to create life. Now, aside from creating babies, I want you ladies to understand that this is a time that you are able to create life. Like I said, if anything, if you have any, like, women are life creating human beings. That's what we do. Create yourself as a woman. Use it in your life as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Your menstrual cycle is the most feminine thing, about you. No one else has a menstrual cycle but women. And it's a reason for that. This is something that should be embraced. This is something that should be taken seriously, especially when it comes to women who experience really, really bad menstrual cycles and really bad PMS. It needs to be talked about more, and we need to take more responsibility into the state of our menstrual cycles and the health of our menstrual cycles and the flow of the menstrual cycle, and also how we're connecting to it. Because if we're disconnected from the menstrual cycle, and then if we deem it as such a daunting thing that just comes every month and just steals all of our joy and creates pain, then we're going to be disconnected from it. So if we're disconnected from our menstrual cycles, then we're disconnected from ourselves, right? If we're disconnected from our menstrual cycles, we're disconnected from our bodies, right? And this is the same feminine essence that we talk about all day online. Soft life, femininity this, femininity that. But it's women out here who are literally on birth control just to not have periods. It's women on here who dread the day that they start to bleed every month because it's so painful. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then there are children that are coming in to coming into this life, coming into having a menstrual cycle. And then we're not talking about it. We're not sharing none of this beautiful information that we need to share. This is so beneficial to life as a woman. The fact that we're not sharing it with our daughters, we're not sharing it with our kids, we're not sharing it with our sisters, our friends. It's mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing the day that I found out that the moon and the menstrual cycle was interconnected. So I really, really, really am going to talk about this more, and I'm going to encourage all of you to go deeper into your menstrual cycle. Like I said, if you're not creating a baby, you are creating life, and you're creating your life. Everything about your menstrual cycle is who you are as a woman. So you can use these phases. You can use this menstrual cycle. Your body naturally detoxes and cleanses and releases everything that it does not need naturally. Right? And it shouldn't be a painful experience. It shouldn't be painful. There should be beautiful, like literally beautiful. A lot of times people don't understand what they need to release. They will not release what they need to release ever. They'll hold on to it forever. But the more you are in tune, this is why I love my menstrual cycle, because the more you are in tune with yourself, and the more you're in tune with this natural cycle of who you are as a woman, the more that you are able to get done in life. The more that you are able to live a life that's really for you. You are a grown woman. You are a grown woman. You do not need to disconnect yourself from one of the things, if not the thing, that makes you a woman. You know what I'm saying? Your menstrual cycle makes you a woman. So there's no need to disconnect from that. Don't get further and further from that. You don't need to be on birth control if you are not having sex. You don't need to do any of that to avoid actually going through the cycle. Now, I know that it might be painful. I know that it might be something that you have to deal with, but understand the pain and PMS that you are going through. You may have to look into that a little bit deeper. You have to look into that a little bit deeper. And sometimes your period is actually telling you that, hey, I can't fulfill my duties right now. I can't, flow the way that I need to because there's something in the way. And that's where your pain is coming from. And that's something that you're going to have to look into a little bit deeper. And I know it's probably hard. And I know that it's different for a lot of women. There's a lot of different things going on for a lot of women. I know that, right? But understand that your menstrual cycle is here for you. It's a gift, right? It's here for you. It's here for everybody. If we did not have women to have this, then we would not be here. The earth would not be as beautiful as it is because women create life. Period. That you might feel like you are the only one that's going through these things, but understand that all women have menstrual cycles, right? And there are a lot of women who go through painful menstrual cycles. And then there's a lot of women who, like myself, who love their menstrual cycles. And understand that you can get to this point as well. I believe that the body heals itself. The body does heal itself. That's just a fact, right? The body will heal itself. The menstrual cycle is not out to get you. It's here for you as a woman. And I'm going to encourage you to go a little deeper. Just get very intimate with yourself and with your menstrual cycle. Okay? So the podcast is brought to you by Necentris. Necentris is an institution where you are able to learn and you're able to grow intuitively about being a creator of your life. Okay, so thank you for listening to the Qituwrah Leah podcast, and I'm gonna see y'all later.